During the summer, which was only sent out at like 3 o'clock.
That's okay. It's not a problem. I'd rather be over. I'd rather be over.
I will.
So I can just kind of see in the middle and kind of use the rest. Okay. I love this space.
And Greg, I don't like to do the spotlight, but
We were at someone else comes. Why are you sitting back there? You're supposed to be up there. Oh, no. You don't know me. I like.
that's right. We just came back from the vacation. So that's just, I like it.
Let me do my work, but I haven't seen.
Great.
Yeah.
I went through the whole list.
I'd like to ask that the first ever Madison County Vice Chairman from the town of Georgetown lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yep. Kavanaugh.
Here.
Corbin.
Here.
Cunningham.
Here.
Davio.
Here.
Du Bois.
Here.
During.
Here.
Dave Jones is absent. Kinville.
Here.
Pinard.
Here.
Rieger.
Here.
Reuter.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Stepanski is absent. Stokes is absent. Bossberg.
Here.
Walrod.
Here.
Wicks.
Here.
Wynn.
Here.
1,391 votes present.
Okay. Motion to accept the June 11th, 2024 meeting minutes. Pete? Rhonda? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Have a proclamation.
You can go ahead. You got your marked one.
Yep, there it is. Thank you. Okay, this is a proclamation for the Disability Awareness Month in Madison County. Whereas the Americans with Disabilities Acts, ADA, a landmark civil rights legislation, prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities and ensures access to employment, state and local government facilities and services, public accommodations, telecommunications, and transportation. And whereas the signing of the ADA into law on July 26, 1990 has empowered millions of Americans with disabilities by outlining necessary changes to enhance their participation in our communities. And now, whereas Madison County values its cooperative relationship with all of the organizations gathered here and look forward to continuing our effort to promote human dignity, self-sufficiency, and inclusion for all. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, James Cunningham, Chairman of the Madison County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2024 Disability Awareness Month, Madison County. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do communications.
Okay.
I have a vouchers payable report submitted by Finance Director Louis Ann Randall in the amount of $1,456,825.39. And we received a thank you letter from Earlville Free Library for support and funding. And we also received correspondence from the City of Syracuse IDA regarding the Valiant Real Estate USA project. Okay. We want to,
Resolutions.
Dan. Okay.
Dan?
yep, we'll go ahead and ask you, Brad. Okay, if Dan Kolinsky, would you like to come forward and do your Empire State Development presentation, please?
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks everyone for having me, Chairman, and the supervisors for having me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan Kolinsky. I am the Regional Director at Empire State Development. For those of you not familiar with Empire State Development, we're the state's chief economic development agency. And I'm the Regional Director for Central New York, which is the 5-county region that includes Madison County, Onondaga, Cayuga, Oswego, and also Cortland counties. And I wanted to quickly come today just to talk about a couple things. Introduce myself so you know who I was. We really want to be a resource in our office to you all and the projects that you're working on in your communities. If we don't directly have access to grants that you can apply for, we usually know the agency that does, or we can connect you with the right folks. Many of you I know have projects that are going out right now and you're looking for state funds to help you get those underway. And we want to make sure that we can help support you in those efforts. So I first and foremost want to come and introduce myself and know that, anytime feel free to reach out to us. We want to be a resource and we want to be someone, who's a friend of Madison County. Many of you know my deputy, Melissa Davis, who just came on board in March. She's in the back too. Feel free to reach out to her as well if you have any questions on things we're working on. And I just want to go over a couple of quick things that we are working on through our agency that might be important as we're coming up on the CFA deadline on July 31st. And the first and foremost being pro-housing communities. I know many of you have heard of it. I wanted to take an opportunity to let you even ask some questions if you do about what it is, what it isn't, and how, how it might benefit your community. I think we all realize there is a need for housing across the state. Central New York alone needs to be building 2,500 new units of housing a year over the next 10 years just to meet the demand of what we're expecting to see in terms of population increase from Micron and other expected population increases that are coming through the area. Why is it important for you to apply? First and foremost, there's a lot of funding sources that are going to be made available to communities that are considered pro-housing this year. Things like DRI, New York Forward, Restore New York. Restore New York is not currently a requirement. Market New York, ESD grants, if a municipality is applying for an ESD grant program. And there's also a new $40 million pro-housing community grant program that municipalities can apply for to do things like infrastructure work and demolition work on sites to prepare them for future projects in the future. So why should a community apply? I mean, first and foremost, as I mentioned, to offset, everybody needs to be building housing. Housing, I think, is at top of mind for everybody. We have an affordability crisis right now across the region. Last month, there was an article in Syracuse.com that said the rents in Syracuse increased at the highest rate of any municipality in the country, which is shocking, considering that we're talking about places like Denver and Washington, D.C. and others that have always been these kind of top rate markets. But rents are really increasing at a rate that's unaffordable. And as we know, home prices are skyrocketing as well. So there's the need for more in every type of housing. There isn't any specific type of housing that we need to be building. We just need to be building all types of housing. And that's what's great about this program is we're not telling anyone what type of housing to be building. As long as you are committed to being a pro-housing community, AKA doing things that make it easier for developers developers and others to come in and build new housing units. So real quick, kind of how you apply for this. And I know many of you are working on this now, but again, I wanted to come in and at least offer an opportunity to answer any questions. First is you reach out to Homes and Community Renewal. You send a letter of intent to Homes and Community Renewal. It's literally just an email. I believe it's prohousing@hcr.ny.gov. Once you send that letter of intent in, they will reach back out to you within 5 days. You'll be assigned a project manager. They will let you know what documents they need, things like your zoning maps, the building permits that you've issued over the last 5 years will be things that you'll issue to HCR. And from there, depending on if you have been building housing, if you've been building housing at a rate of 0.33% in the past year or 1% over the last 3 years, you will automatically get the designation. If you have not, and I know many of our rural counties and towns have not been able to do that, you just simply need to pass a resolution through the governing body that would have control over zoning. So the town supervisors here would have control of your own zoning, but your villages would also need to do this. So it's important that we're getting that message across because the town can't apply on behalf of the village. It needs to be the municipality that has control of zoning. Simply pass a resolution through that governing body that states that you're committing to pro-housing practices and you'll do things in the future to help, make it easier to build housing across the community. Again, why is that important? Those programs that many of you have applied for in the past will have a requirement this year. New York Forward. I know there was a lot of applications from Madison County this past year for New York Forward. Canastota was a winner. We're really excited about that. We're hoping that we get more applications from Madison County again this year. It will be a requirement to be a pro-housing community in order to apply for New York Forward and DRI this coming year. Other things like Market New York, as I mentioned, the ESD grant program, if a municipality is applying for wastewater treatment upgrades or something like that, the municipality would have to be pro-housing. And as I said, new this year, which we're really excited about, is this $40 million capital improvements program for pro-housing. This is slightly different than Restore New York, whereas Restore New York, the municipality applies and it can be passed through to a developer. This is not a pass-through program, so the costs need to be incurred by the municipality itself. But it's $40 million that'll be made available to the community for things like placemaking investments, building community centers. A great way to do a placemaking investment, that would be an eligible cost through this. Demolishing buildings that are making a property undesirable for a developer to actually want to come and develop, doing site work and infrastructure work on that site to make it site ready for a developer. Those are the types of projects that would be eligible through this program. You can apply for up to 50% of project costs or a cap of $3 million in total eligible awards. Two other ones that I want to point out really quickly, the $100 million ESD grant program, that one's been around for a long time. I think many of you are familiar with it. If you're not, we're happy to give you more information. I know I only have 10 minutes, so I'm talking fast and want to give you a chance to ask some questions, but this is the bread and butter of ESD's program and the ESD grant program for private businesses that are doing capital expenditures, expansions, hiring. We can provide grants to help those businesses with those expansions up to 20% of total project costs for the eligible portions of the project. So things like purchasing buildings, the capital improvements, whether it's new construction, renovations, machinery and equipment purchases, furnitures and fixtures, that kind of thing. So if you have businesses that you're talking to that are thinking about expansions, have them reach out to our office. We'd love to connect them to our programming and see if it's a right fit for them. And then new this year, which we fought really hard for out of our office, which we're excited about, is a $10 million small manufacturing modernization grant. And why this is different than the $100 million capital grant program, it's specific to our legacy manufacturers, many of whom have told us that based on the formula for how we determine awards, they weren't really getting the resources that they need to do the projects that they needed. This $10 million is going to be separate from our internal analysis. It'll be up to $250,000 in grants made available for projects to help our legacy businesses, those that have been in business more than 10 years or more, modernize their equipment and prepare for all the new work that's going to be coming to the region through Micron and everything else that's happening. So we're really excited about that one. And again, can answer some questions about that if you have it. Couple other things, just to be made aware of. We're also brought back the $5 million not-for-profit grant program. This is a program subject to the July 31st deadline. Not-for-profits can apply for a minimum of $25,000 or up to $100,000 for improvements to the work that they're doing in the community. Central New York was pretty undersubscribed to this program last year, so we'd like to see more of our not-for-profits applying again next year. And then just a few other things to put on your radar, and then I'll open up to any questions you might have. Again, DRI New York Forward will be opening up again this year. We'll be able to pick one $10 million DRI winner, two $4.5 million New York Forward winners. That application we're anticipating opening sometime maybe in early to late fall, with applications being due sometime probably in October. So please be be on the lookout for that. If you've submitted in the past and would like to review your application and how you can improve upon it, we'd love to meet with you. We've already been doing that with some of our communities. Feel free to reach out to our office. We're happy to do that. The New York Main Street program is available right now. That has the July 31st deadline. Restore New York, we're anticipating another round of Restore New York coming out this fall. We're currently scoring the applications that were just submitted this past summer. So if you do have an application, and you should be hearing from us sometime in the near future of if those awards will be made. We do have strategic and planning and feasibility studies. So if you're thinking about as a county doing any comprehensive planning, or if the town is doing any comprehensive planning, we can provide grants to help you with that comprehensive planning. Department of State also has a smart growth initiative that includes comprehensive planning and rezoning grants. So if you need to do a rezone through your town, now is really a good time to be thinking about it as we're thinking about the growth we're going to experience. DOS, Department of State, has some good resources to help you with that. And then Market New York, obviously available to help with any marketing campaigns that you have to help increase tourism to the county. So that's all I had. I wanted to come just to introduce myself, make sure you knew who we were. We want to be a resource. Please reach out at any time. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions if we have time.
Any questions for Dan?
Dan, just a quick comment. Thank you for taking the time to come and talk with us. And I just wanted to share with the other supervisors, everybody here, we actually had a chance to sit down with Melissa and Zach last week, and just wanted to say what a tremendous resource they are, and super talented and very helpful to kind of guide us through some of these that, unless you're very familiar with them, it takes a little help to kind of navigate through them. So I think it'll be super helpful to make that connection, and kind of there's so many good opportunities that I think each township can take advantage of. So thanks for all you and your office are doing.
Thanks, Supervisor. And just one other point I'll make, because it's been raised a lot in other communities specific to the pro housing designation. If you receive your pro housing designation this year, you get a grant this year through it, and for some reason next year the program changes, or you decide you don't want to go up for recertification, we're not clawing back any grants that you receive this year if you don't continue next year. So there's really no reason not to this year at a minimum, because there's no requirements for types of housing. And if for some reason you don't meet the requirements next year, we're not coming to claw back any grants that you might have received. So we're really encouraging everyone, especially because of that $40 million pro housing community program, to apply. If you've got projects that might fit, it's really worth at least doing it this year so that you can access the grant money. And like I said, if in the future years the program changes or you don't want to recertify, then you just don't need to.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Good job. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to open public hearing, local law number 1 of 2024, amending local law number 4 of 2008. Motion to open the public hearing. Greg, Joe, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, is anybody here to speak for or against this local law? Okay, if there's no one here to speak on the local law, then motion to close the public hearing. Ivan and Kyle, can I have a second? All right, got a second, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Public hearing is closed.
Okay, next we're going to do our resolution of appreciation for retiree recognition. This is Pete Walrod, Chairman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, move this resolution for adoption.
Do you have a second?
Can I have a second? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
All right, let's start. Yep, if Catherine Fowler and Jess Prevo would like to come forward. Catherine has been with DSS for 30 years. Mhm.
Good morning. Good morning. As Commissioner of Social Services, it is a bittersweet honor to say a couple words about Kathy Fowler. I wrote some things down just because I might get sidetracked. This one's going to be tough for me. Congratulations to Kathy as she prepares to retire after 30 years with Madison County. Kathy actually interviewed me 23 years ago and hired me as a child protective investigator. Since that day, thanks. Since that day, Kathy and I have literally worked side by side every single day. There have been a lot of really great days with tons of laughter, mostly inappropriate humor, to say the least. But there's also been a lot of really tough days with a lot of tears. But through all of those days, side by side as a team, we all worked through them. So this is why it's a little tough for me. For the majority of Kathy's tenure at Madison County, she was the senior supervisor of the Child Protective Unit. There was a very big chunk of that time where she voluntarily took all hours of on-call from all hours did on-call as a supervisor. That was nights, weekends, holidays. She did this, folks, without compensation. She did this just for the pure unselfishness of wanting to help families and her coworkers and being there to answer questions and offer guidance to any worker out in the field in the middle of the night who was removing a child from a family. You can imagine how difficult that is. And she did that just for the love of her job and for the love of Madison County. Kathy has faced some substantial life challenges during her 30 years at Madison County DSS, but she always showed up every single day when she got to work and did the absolute best job she could, despite whatever might be going on outside of her work life. And that, as we all know, can be a very challenging thing to do sometimes. Her entire career has been focused on protecting children and then putting families back together when we had to take them apart. Kathy has a fundamental belief that all people have the ability to change. She can truly see the good in almost everyone. Almost. Kathy sincerely cares about people. She exudes kindness, understanding, and empathy in every single interaction she has with every single person she comes across. I sincerely hope that everyone in this room has had a coworker like Kathy Fowler. I sincerely hope that everyone in this room has had a supervisor like Kathy Fowler. Most importantly, I hope everyone in this room has had a friend like Kathy Fowler, because she is truly a blessing to all the lives she has ever touched, and I will sincerely miss her so much every single day.
She was not supposed to make me cry. Anyway, and yes, I'm wondering if the SCR is still gonna call me at 3 a.m. after I leave, and some of the stories we could not make up. So I am grateful to all of you, grateful to all of the absolute dedicated people that I have ever worked with, and the wonderful friends I've made along the way.
Okay, next, can we have Luann Bargabas from probation as well as Joanne Miller? Luann has served with probation for 28 years. Mm-hmm.
So Luann is the OA3 with our department. She has been with us for 28 years. She does all of our restitution work, and she has the most important job in any department, which is payroll. But beyond Luann's official duties, she has really been the backbone. of the department for many years. When I took over as director, I literally could not have done this job without. I thought I was not gonna cry. She is always energetic and enthusiastic. She has been the department cheerleader. She has been a sympathetic ear, and she has been a friend to so many, including myself. Her contribution to the department has really been immeasurable, and we are going to miss her terribly. But we know that she's going to have many great adventures in retirement, and will stop by and tell us all about them and make us jealous. And I just want to express how grateful I am and wish you all best.
Okay, so each month we're going to feature a town and a city, as well as the county department for an update. So this month we're featuring the town of Nelson, which is when it was established, was the #1 town before they had names, actually, back in 1788. So welcome to the town of Nelson. I need that clicker there. Right, so the towns in the southern part of our county started out with transportation, building feeder systems for our canal system, the Shenango Canal System. This is the Eatonbrook Dam, built in 1837. You can see OSHA's on the job. The town's population really boomed during that time. It was our highest population. We've had a steady decline since then for almost 100 years, and the lowest population was just after the war, or between the two wars, which was 928 people. We've built that back up to nearly what it was. That canal feeder system serves numerous towns: Nelson, Eaton, Hamilton, Lebanon. The summit of the system is in Leland's Pond, and water could be diverted in either direction. That's Joe's. So we're 4 of 5 of those major feeder canals. If you've been by, some people call it the McGee's auction house at one time, Bill McGee. It's the Drover's Inn. It's under construction right now. It was built in 1804. It's a wonderful building, and hopefully it gets reconstructed and people will visit it. We have one of the earliest churches in the county, built in 1876. It's considered the Welch Church. If you haven't been there on a Sunday, it's a pretty amazing place. The earliest burial in Nelson was 1795. Our form of government is similar to probably all of yours in this room, except for a few that I think appoint their highway and their town clerks. These are elected positions for the town of Nelson. We have 3 ambulance districts that serve the town. We have 92 tax exempt state parcels in the town of Nelson. I think there's over 800 tax exempt parcels in the entire town. So makes it difficult sometimes when a lot of your land is tax exempt. We rank number 10 in population and the 4th lowest in 2024 town taxes. Nelson has 100 lane miles of roads to maintain. Our people do a phenomenal job. I just can't believe how a small staff can do what they do, and especially when we have day after day snowstorms. I don't know when they sleep. It's just absolutely amazing. We operate 20 major road assets. We've set up an asset management program that stabilizes our annual costs for our towns, and that's worked out very well for us. Our shared service program is just great, except for me, because I have to buy a lot of donuts and it's pretty expensive. So it's been great. I really have realized how well our townships work together on this shared service program. Last year, we constructed a new storage building and a farmer's market picnic area. hopefully to be used when produce gets out there this later summer. We have a contest between our two lakes, Tuscarora Lake and Eatonbrook Lake, for the amount of trash you can pick up. So Greg, I'm sure you're happy about this, but they all come in smiling, I know, because it's a big contest and my lake always wins. So we have two public water systems, Erieville Water System and the Route 20 Water District. We established the Erieville Revitalization Committee last year, and we're working to revitalize the Erieville community. We have a high voltage transmission line that runs just west of the hamlet of Nelson. And anyone in these of our towns that know what these high voltage lines mean, and they mean pretty big wind and solar projects are collecting near them. This is the Hoffman Falls Wind Project with 23 windmills. It falls under the 94C regulations for state review. If you look at the windmill at the bottom, it's 700 foot tall as compared to the Empire State Building, or the smaller windmill, which is about 150 foot tall. So these are going to be seen all over our townships. And GE has a new 800 foot tall windmill that they're marketing. We have two major lakes, Eatonbrook Lake and Tuscarora Lake, and Stony Pond State Park. So we have lots of recreational opportunities. In fact, it's a big windfall for our town. People from all over the country live on our lakes, and it really helps our economy especially from a sales tax standpoint. The lakes are truly an economic boom for our township. We have two formal lake associations that are very active and so active that they wanted to be more involved with government. And we formed a watershed management committee 5 years ago, which 2 members from each lake are on that, and 2 board members, and an upland farm. That committee has been fantastic. We've taken a scientific approach. We've monitored what we have growing in our lakes. We've monitored what goes into our lakes. Stormwater, these big storms that we've been having have created a tremendous amount of input and phosphorus to our lakes. And we've been putting in check dams around most of our steep slopes and working with the soil conservation department. And that's been a very good for the towns. Soil water is able to make that bridge, but we wouldn't normally go out of our right of way, and the soil water conservation district goes onto the property's land and can do things there where the towns can't. We're a member of the IMAP invasive database locator. So this is me to the left, picking out what we found was water chestnut in one of our lakes, which is not a good thing. We're hand harvesting it for now, but that's pretty explosive growth if it takes off. And so we've recorded all of the different invasive species that we have. And if you go onto IMAP, you'll see the invasive species in your area, whether they're terrestrial or aquatic. Economic development, we applied for our New York Forward grant last year, and I think it was probably one of the best things that we have done as a town, because it really made you look around your town and see what you have. And so we based it on this loop trail that we've been building through the unique Nelson Swamp, and to connect nature with businesses. Part of that trail was built by the town of Nelson, and part was with DEC. Now it's completely a DEC trail. And this is our team. I'm surprised that bridge actually held up. There was a lot of DEC people there that day. We've been working with Syracuse University and their engineering department, and they've done a lot of work for us for no cost. And they've laid out a lot of programs for us. And one of the neat programs is when you buy a hunting license, some of that money for the hunting license goes to programs to promote various things such as archery. And so on the right-hand side is a new archery area that we will have on Tinsley Hill. And we hope to give bow and arrows to all the children in our town to start up a program, because archery is really a growing thing today. And maybe we'll have some Olympians come out of the town of Nelson soon. We have over 20 miles of maintained multi-use trails. We're really a year-round tourism opportunity. If you've ever been to a fishing derby, it's a lot of fun, even if you don't fish. It's a great time. We have Peter Ridasta. I don't know if any of you know Peter. Has been taking care of a lot of trails. Their group is called the Frosty Group. And if you come to Nelson in the wintertime, you can cross-country ski. He's always got great trails for everyone to enjoy. We have two major state parks, Stony Pond and Tafneoga, covering about 4,000 acres. And the other day, I took this picture of some equine folks going out on our trails. John Madden Equine Center is one of the largest, I call it equine retirement centers, you might say. A lot of the Olympic horses end up there, and you can go over and visit that. It's a great site. And also the SUNY Morrisville Rehab Center is within the town of Nelson. And August 3rd, or Saturday, August 3rd, we'll have our 15th annual Madison County Mad Cow race. So I suspect all of the town supervisors will be there, and you can get a Mad Cow shirt. We have two newsletters, Hills and Hollows and the Tuscarora Times. And we have a community healthcare center as well. We recently met with SUNY Morrisville and 4 towns to discuss more shared services, things that we could do from a school standpoint. Here we go. Okay. So we have over 24 businesses. If they push too hard, I guess it goes fast. Okay, so we have over 200 businesses in the town of, or not 24 businesses in the town of Nelson, medium size, and then I call us the Silicon Valley of Madison County, because we've got electronic businesses there: Marquardt, Knowles, Tronser, and Pelco. And our newest addition is a small place called Nelson Creamery, and if you look down at the bottom, you will see that there is a Nelson Swamp ice cream that you can get. So try that out. Anyway, we are an example of live, work, and play, and that's been our focus for quite a few years. And we really have gotten a lot of people to our township. So with that, I'll turn that over to Scott.
All right, so Jim said he wanted the worst department to go first, so we got called. So things will get better as time goes on. I think the presentation is almost ready. I'll do what Dan did. I'll probably talk very quickly to get through this, as I know there's still the agenda yet to come. But this is just an overview of the planning department. We kept this just to the planning department. We're not talking about the workforce development side of things on this today, but that they'll have their time in the future. But this will be pretty quick. Just an overview of the planning department, starting with the staff, which is surprisingly pretty new. We've got 1 vacancy right now, which we actually have just filled. Probably someone will be starting in August, I think. So, but I've been there 24 or been here 24 years. Jamie's been there 14, and everybody else has been here less than 3. So we've got a relatively new staff here at the county, which is exciting. Thank you. Yeah, that was awesome, huh? It's not advancing. Yeah. I broke it.
Kristen, you want to just give him the mic?
I gotta, hold on. It wasn't.
I guess there was talk of having IT go today, and I'm sure this wouldn't have happened if IT were presenting, so. Oh, sorry, that was me. I did that. Okay. I have control. All right, thank you. So just areas of focus that the planning department, land use planning, obviously is sort of the bread and butter, environmental protection, open space, agriculture protection and promotion, economic development, public transportation, Main Street and facade improvement, recreation trails and energy is kind of a catch-all of the things that we do. And for many of these things, there are partners in the community, whether it's departments here at the county or agencies like Cooperative Extension, the IDA, Soil and Water that we work with on all these programs. So it really is dependent upon working cooperatively with a lot of others. On the land use planning side, land use planning and training, zoning and mapping assistance is something that we do. We've got a computerized system. We can do all of the zoning maps in the county digitally. We could reproduce copies of them for municipalities. Comprehensive planning, there's two examples here of the town of Georgetown and town of Fenner, two plans that we've assisted with recently. This is something that we have done more of the last few years. I think maybe the renewable energy kick has been something that spawned a lot of interest in updating and redoing comprehensive plans. So we're happy to help out with that. If everybody asked for our help at the same time, we'd probably be overwhelmed, but it kind of works out pretty well that we can do a couple at a time. So we're working on some of those right now, including Canastota and others. Environmental protection, one of the resolutions today talks about FLOPA. That's a watershed organization that we're part of, that we get about $100,000 in grant funding from each year. One of 25 counties in the state. We use that for a lot of work with Soil and Water, other agencies and entities in the county, restricted to the Oneida Lake watershed in our part of the, so basically the northern half of the county. They include stream maintenance. We've been talking with Pete about doing and improving our county forests properties, working with DEC on that, unit management planning, and Jamie is the chair of the Regional New York State Parks Commission for New York State. Agriculture protection, promotion. This is the cover of a 2019 plan that our county put together in conjunction with others. That's Ag and Farmland Protection Plan. Like I mentioned, Cooperative Extension and Soil and Water are partners that we work with. We have 4 agricultural districts. It's something that the board sees resolutions come before them on a regular basis. Ag and Farmland Protection, and again, GIS mapping. On the economic development side, mentioned working closely with the IDA. The county has a revolving loan fund. We do a lot of Office of Community Renewal grant administration, oftentimes in partnership with a local entity. The PCD and CACTA are two. Those agencies don't have the capacity to be a grant recipient on their own. And so we have served that role. The county has, and behind the scenes, it's not just the planning department, but there's finance department and other elements that come into play there. Really have cycled a lot of money through the county using those, including some Heartstone Bakery, Ray Brothers, Pelco. We're talking about a couple other grants right now. So that's really something that we do a fair bit of. Public transportation, not always the most exciting subject, but it definitely, we do a lot of paperwork and federal regulations and all the things that come with receiving federal and state funding for the small public transit system we have in the county. Mobility management is something that we've done more of recently, where we have a contract with Rural Health Council, Madison County, to really help connect the gaps in all transportation needs, not just a public bus system. So I mentioned grants already. We definitely do a lot of grants. Most of these stem from working with a community, maybe in a comprehensive planning process, or working with them on a specific project of some type. So we've got a $1.5 million reimagine the canals. I won't go through all these, but this kind of shows the breadth of grant work that we do. We received $1 million for Delphi Falls, the CARES Act grant that we had last year and finished up early this year, over $1 million there, which the county kicked in some of its own money, working on our Oneida Lake Watershed Management Plan. Clean energy community work, which we are just now applying for an additional grant based on doing some of the things that the county has done. We become eligible for funding. So that's something here. I won't go through all these, but these are the businesses that we funded recovery assistance typically in the realm of $25,000 to $50,000 per business. The county, there were so many applicants for this that the county actually kicked in some of its own funding to help. This was a great program. We worked with a consultant to do all the work, and we really got a lot of money out the door to businesses in Madison County. Oneida Rail Trail, this is a project that we worked with the city of Oneida on and continue to do so. For those that aren't familiar, right outside of our window here, there were a series of railways that existed for a long period of time. The big flat area where the fireman's field is out there was all, I think at one time there were over 8 rail lines there. And so some of that property the county had retained ownership of over the years. Same thing with the city of Oneida. Put in the rail trail. I'm going to get the date wrong. I think it was 2017. And it gets all kinds of traffic, biking, walking. Now we see motorized scooters on that all the time, but it's definitely a really unique trail. A lot of county employees use it just because it's right out our door, but something that we worked on funding. Manage the county parks. We have 3 parks. Oxbow Falls, which you see here, maybe most known for its disc golf course. The falls are intermittent, but when they're flowing, they're pretty spectacular. And this is one that I really want to highlight the work of facilities. Over the past 5 to 6 years, they've really taken the role of maintaining the parks on. And it's been great. It's a great relationship. They do a lot. They take pride in what they do out here. And, sometimes these fall a little bit under the radar, but the work that they've done really improved things out there, and they look great. They take pride in them. Nichols Pond, a little bit smaller than Oxbow Falls, but there's some unique features and really interesting history there. Delphi Falls, which I know of something we've talked quite a bit about over the years. Got the property in 2018. It was, a residential property with nothing of public access there. And so we've really worked over the past few years to improve that. I'll go into a little bit more detail, but again, I really want to highlight what facilities has done. They've just weeded and mulched out there. If you haven't seen it recently, go take a look. All the perennials that have been planted out there are native. They're starting to bloom, and it really looks pretty spectacular. So the building itself, which you can see on the right, Ryan, I think, just took these pictures last week, and the building has come a long way. I think there was a Instagram and Facebook reel. Is that the right term yesterday? I'm a little dated, obviously. I'm not dating. I'm married. It didn't come out right, but it really looks spectacular. So move on. Tell jokes before Delphi Falls, because sometimes this one hasn't been the most favorite subject of the board, but I think that in the end, with that behind us, the money's in place, the contracts are in place. I really feel this is going to be one of the best public works projects that we've ever done. And though, it's going to be used initially, this is for 50 years, 100 years. This is going to be a really neat opportunity to provide this space to the public, and it's really come a long way. So the phase 1 of Delphi Falls was the work that completed last year. The parking lot, the ADA overlook that you see in the picture here, the trail system, that in total was about $1.5 million. All that work is now complete, and we received $1 million in grant funding for that from 2 different grant applications. Moving on to what we're terming phase 2, the visitor center portion of this, which is under construction right now. The building has really taken shape. As you can see here in the video, it really looks like something now. The exterior of the building, the roofing is done. They're working on the siding. It's really starting to look like something. The grounds are being maintained and improved, and sidewalks and all that are going in now. So the visitor center itself, the project is contractually, we have $4.4 million in construction contracts out there. It's all taking place right now. We're a little less than halfway through that. We've got a contingency built in, and we've used only a portion of that. So, the project is under budget right now. We feel good about where things are. We've had a couple bumps in the roads with permits and that sort of thing, but where things are going great. And I think you're really going to start to see some exciting progress out there. So definitely wanted to highlight that. Look forward to probably October-ish is the goal, I think, to have it completed. And obviously we'll work on putting something, a grand opening type of thing together on that. So I think there's 2 slides left, so I'm almost done. On the energy side, 2 megawatt solar array that's located on county property up adjacent to the landfill and solid waste facilities. This was built in 2017. We don't own the panels. We purchased the power from the panels. And in 22, which is the most recent data we have, we saved over $150,000 from that project. So it really, there are probably 45 meters that we get credits from that solar array from National Grid. And so it's really been a pretty good project, I think, in the end. Took a lot of work to get there, but we're seeing the fruits of that now. On the energy side, I mentioned we just recently received completed an ICERTA grant, charging stations. We've got 2 electric vehicles that the county use. We have one that's used by DMV for their runs that they do around the county a couple times a week. This was 100% NYSERDA grant funding. And I think I'm just about done. The last thing I talk about is Reconnect, the broadband project, which we've all heard about over the years, and especially the last few years of things have ramped up there. That map shows the network coverage for this network. And I think one of the best things about this funding is USDA. It's a total of about $18 million altogether. Is that we're using this backbone of fiber not only to serve areas of the county that are underserved now, but to serve as the jumping off point for the next application, which we have just submitted to the New York State Connect All Municipal Infrastructure Program. That grant is about $28 million. We're in the process now of getting scored and ranked on that. We're optimistic. And when that all is said and done, I think there will be 250 addresses in the county that have not been served. Otherwise, we'll have served every address in the entire county with fiber optic, which is, especially the southern part of the county right now. Anyone that's down there knows internet is extremely challenging, and this is going to improve that. It's a little bit slow going, but we're going to get there. So I think that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, preferred agenda.
All right. Lots of exciting stuff this morning. All right, we're going to move forward with our Government Operations Committee preferred agenda items. Resolution number 2 is authorizing the chairman to enter into an agreement with Election Systems and Software. Number 3 is authorizing chairman to enter into an agreement with Hart InterCivic. Number 4 is authorizing a modification to an enterprise agreement with E+. 5 is a resolution establishing the standard workday and reporting days for certain county officials. 6 is calling for the integration of the purchasing division into the finance department. 7 is creating a full-time family court assistant position in the assigned a council department. Number 8 is creating 2 positions within the Department of Social Services. And number 9 is acknowledging introduction of proposed local law number 3 for the year 2024 and calling for a public hearing. This is Pete Walrod, Chairman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move these resolutions for adoption.
Can I have a second? Evan? Discussion? All in favor, or roll call, please?
Roll call. Fosberg,
Yes.
Walrod,
Aye.
Wicks,
Yes.
Wynn, Kavanaugh, Corbin,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Davio, Du Bois,
Aye.
During,
Aye.
Kinville, aye, Kennard,
Aye.
Rieger,
Aye.
Bruder,
Aye.
Roberts, Schwartz.
Yes.
1,391 votes in favor.
Carried.
Next, we'll move forward to our Finance, Ways and Means Committee resolutions. Number 10 is acknowledging introduction of proposed local law number 2 for the year 2024 and calling for a public hearing. Number 11 through 13 are authorizing the modification of the 2024 adopted county budget. 11 is for EMS, 12 is for the second HH grant for assigned council, and 13 is for Board of Elections. This is Matt Roberts, Chairman, Finance, Ways and Means Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move these resolutions for adoption.
Greg, second. Roll call, please.
Yep. Walrod, Wicks, Wynn, Kavanaugh, Corbin,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Davio, Du Bois,
Aye.
During,
Aye.
Kinville,
Aye.
Kennard,
Aye.
Rieger,
Aye.
Ruder,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Fosberg.
Yes.
1,391 votes in favor. By Health and Human Services Committee, resolution number 14 is authorizing chairman to enter into an agreement with iCentral Software for the early intervention program. 15 is accepting bid and awarding an agreement for early intervention in preschool children transportation. And number 16 is appointing members to the Madison County Youth Bureau Youth Board. This is Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Health and Human Services Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move these resolutions for adoption.
A second. Brandy? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Wicks? Wynn? Kavanaugh? Corbin? Cunningham?
Yes.
Davio? DuBois?
Aye.
During?
Aye.
Kinville?
Aye.
Pinard?
Aye.
Rieger?
Aye.
Reuter? Roberts? Schwartz?
Yes.
Bossberg?
Yes.
Walrod. 1,391 votes in favor. Next, we have our planning committee. 17 is authorizing an agreement with Yates County for the purchase of 54 miles of single strand fiber for Madison County's Reconnect project. 18 is authorizing an amendment to an agreement between Madison County Soil and Water Conservation District and Madison County. 19 is authorizing the extension of public transit agreement with Bernie Transit Incorporated and coordinated service MOU with Bernie Transit, Madison County and Heritage Farm. This is Evan Schwartz, Chairman, Planning Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move these resolutions for adoption.
Can I have a second? Joe? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Wynn? Kavanaugh? Corbin? Cunningham?
Yes.
Davio? DuBois?
Aye.
During?
Aye.
Kinville?
Aye.
Pinard?
Aye.
Rieger?
Aye.
Reuter? Roberts?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Vosberg?
Yes.
Walrod? Wicks?
Yes.
1,391 votes. All right, our criminal justice resolutions. Number 20 is authorizing the chairman to enter into an amended agreement with New York State Defenders Association. 21 is authorizing chairman to enter an agreement with Cazenovia Central School District for the use of SPOs. 22 is authorizing chairman to enter an agreement with Madison Central School District for the use of SPOs. And number 23 is expressing concerns regarding proposed OSHA reforms in New York State for emergency service providers. This is Rex Vosberg, Chairman, Criminal Justice Public Safety Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move these resolutions for adoption.
Pete, second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Kavanaugh, Corbin, Cunningham, Davio, DuBois,
Aye.
During,
Aye.
Kinville,
Aye.
Pinard,
Aye.
Rieger,
Aye.
Reuter, Roberts, Schwartz,
Yes.
Vosberg,
Yes.
Walrod, Wicks.
Yes.
Wynn. 1,391 votes in favor. Moving forward with our regular agenda resolutions, number 24 is authorizing the chairman to enter into an agreement with National Grid approved contractors. This is Lauren Corbin, Chairman, Highway Buildings and Grounds Committee, co-signed by Evan Schwartz, Chairwoman of Planning Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Second. Evan? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 25 is adopting local law number 1 of 2024, amending local law number 4 of 2008. This is Pete Walrod, Chairman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Can I have a second? Matt? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Corbin? Cunningham? Davio? DuBois?
Aye.
During?
Aye.
Kinville?
Aye.
Pinard?
Aye.
Rieger?
Aye.
Reuter? Roberts?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Bossberg?
Yes.
Walrod? Wicks?
Yes.
Wynn? Kavanaugh. 1,391 votes in favor. Okay, we have a couple additional resolutions. We have an agreement that came in a little bit after I have sent out the agenda. So first, we need to do a resolution requesting the waiver of Rule 24 and 24A. This is Pete Walrod, Chairman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Can I have a second? Evan? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Davio? DuBois?
Aye.
During,
Aye.
Kinville,
Aye.
Pinard,
Aye.
Rieger,
Aye.
Reuter, Roberts, Schwartz.
Yes.
Fosberg,
Yes.
Walrod, Wicks.
Yes.
Wynn, Kavanaugh, Corbin. I have to change to my modified vote. 1,396 votes in favor.
Carried.
All right, moving forward, our last resolution is authorizing the chairman to enter into an agreement with New York State Teamsters Council Health and Hospital Fund. Pete Walrod, Chairman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Can I have a second, Rex? Discussion? All in favor? Or should this be roll call? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
All right.
The public comment period. Is there anybody on the sheet for speaking? There's no one. Okay. Anybody like to speak? Okay. Any other business?
I just want to say something quick. I really like the idea of the town presentations and the departments. I think it's a great idea. Although mine won't be as long as yours, I'll probably bring in ribs from Ray Brothers and share them with everybody on my own dollar.
Tempting.
Yeah, let's do that next month.
It's a great idea.
Time to raise some money.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Pete? Michelle, sorry. Okay, can I have a second? All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.